First Contact and the Ultimatum. Dr. Elena Cho stifled a yawn as she gazed at the arrays of monitors surrounding her in the control room of the global deep space network. The clock on the wall showed 3:27 a.m., and the facility was eerily quiet. As the lead astrophysicist on the night shift, Elena was used to uneventful nights spent monitoring the vast emptiness of space. Suddenly, a shrill alarm pierced the silence. Elena jolted upright, her fatigue instantly forgotten. Her eyes darted across the screens, searching for the source of the alert. There, on the primary monitor, was something she had never seen before: a clear, rhythmic pattern of signals, far too regular to be natural. "Holy shit," Elena whispered, her fingers flying across the keyboard as she began to analyze the incoming data. Her heart raced as the implications became clear. This was it, the moment scientists had both dreamed of and feared for centuries. First contact. With trembling hands, Elena reached for her phone and dialed her supervisor, Dr. Marcus Wong. "Marcus, you need to get down here right now," she said, her voice tight with excitement and anxiety. I think we've just received a message from an alien civilization." Within hours, the facility was buzzing with activity. Scientists from around the world joined via video conference, all watching in awe as the signal continued to pour in. Government officials arrived, their faces grim with the weight of the situation. Dr. Wong stood at the front of the room, addressing the assembled crowd. "Ladies and gentlemen, there's no doubt about it. This signal is artificial in origin and is clearly intended for us. We're working on decoding it now, but one thing is certain: we are not alone in the universe." As the news spread, the world erupted into a frenzy. Social media exploded with theories and reactions. Some celebrated the dawn of a new era, while others warned of impending doom. Religious leaders scrambled to reconcile their teachings with this new reality, and governments worldwide declared states of emergency. In New York, the United Nations convened an emergency session. Secretary General Adebayo stood before the General Assembly, his usual calm demeanor strained. "We face an unprecedented situation," he announced. "The future of our entire species may hinge on how we handle this first contact. I urge all nations to set aside their differences and work together in this critical time." Back at the Deep Space Network facility, Elena and her team worked tirelessly to decipher the alien message. After 3 days of non-stop effort, they finally cracked the code. The room fell silent as Elena prepared to read the translation aloud. "To the inhabitants of the third planet of the star you call Sol," she began, her voice shaking slightly. "Your world has been chosen. You have 10 of your Earth years to prepare yourselves for integration into the galactic concordat. Resistance is futile. Compliance is mandatory." The silence that followed was deafening. Then chaos erupted as everyone in the room began talking at once. Dr. Wong raised his hands, calling for quiet. "We need to inform the UN immediately," he said, his face pale. "This isn't just first contact. It's an ultimatum." As the news of the alien message spread, the initial excitement of first contact quickly turned to fear and anger. Riots broke out in major cities worldwide as people demanded action from their governments. Military forces were mobilized, and defense budgets skyrocketed overnight. In Washington, D.C., President Carlisle addressed the nation from the Oval Office. "My fellow Americans and citizens of Earth," she began, her voice steady despite the gravity of the situation. "We have received a message from an advanced alien civilization. They have given us an ultimatum. Prepare for integration or face the consequences. But let me be clear, we will not bow to threats, no matter their origin. We will not surrender our sovereignty or our way of life. We have 10 years, and we will use every second of that time to prepare. Not for submission, but for resistance." The president's words resonated across the globe. In the days that followed, the United Nations transformed into a war room. Leaders from every nation came together, setting aside old grudges and conflicts in the face of this existential threat. Dr. Elena Cho found herself at the center of it all. As one of the few people who understood the alien message in its entirety, she was called to brief world leaders on the nature of the threat they faced. The technology gap between us and the aliens is significant, Elena explained, standing before a panel of grim-faced politicians and military leaders. But we have one advantage: time. 10 years is a long time to prepare, especially if we pool our resources and work together. General Zhang of the Chinese military leaned forward. What do you propose, Dr. Cho? How can we possibly hope to resist a civilization capable of interstellar travel? Elena took a deep breath. We need to focus on 3 key areas, she said. First, we need to advance our space technology. We need a presence beyond Earth, a way to detect and potentially intercept the alien fleet before it reaches us. Second, we need to develop new weapons and defense systems. If they do reach Earth, we need to be able to fight back. And third, we need to try to communicate with them again. Maybe we can negotiate, find a peaceful solution. The room erupted into debate. Some argued for pouring all resources into military preparation, while others pushed for attempts at diplomacy. In the end, a compromise was reached. Earth would prepare for war while also extending an olive branch. As the meeting adjourned, Elena felt a tap on her shoulder. She turned to see Dr. Yuki Tanaka, a renowned physicist from Japan. Dr. Cho, Yuki said, her eyes shining with excitement despite the dire circumstances. I have an idea, something that could change everything. But I'll need your help. Elena listened as Yuki outlined her plan. It was audacious, possibly insane. But if it worked, count me in, Elena said, feeling a glimmer of hope for the first time since the alien message arrived. As Elena and Yuki hurried off to begin their secret project, the world around them transformed. The next decade would see humanity unite and advance as never before, all in preparation for the arrival of their uninvited galactic neighbors. In labs around the world, scientists worked tirelessly to unlock the secrets of the alien message, hoping to glean any advantage they could. Military forces underwent radical restructuring, forming a unified Earth defense force. Space agencies pooled their resources, accelerating plans for lunar and Martian colonies that could serve as backup plans if Earth fell. But perhaps the most significant change was in the hearts and minds of people around the world. The threat of alien integration had done what countless wars and crises had failed to do. It had united humanity. Old conflicts were set aside. Borders became less important, and a new sense of global identity began to emerge. In schools, children now learned about potential alien cultures alongside human history. Universities established new departments dedicated to xenobiology and xenolinguistics. Even popular culture shifted, with movies and books imagining not just the conflict to come, but the possibility of a post-war world where humans and aliens coexisted. As the years passed, Earth's preparation became evident even from space. Massive defense installations dotted the planet's surface, and new, gleaming cities rose, built to withstand potential alien weaponry. Orbiting satellites were replaced with armed stations, the first line of defense against an incoming fleet. But beneath the military buildup and technological advancements, Elena and Yuki's secret project continued. Hidden away in a facility deep beneath the Antarctic ice, they worked on something that could change the course of the coming conflict. As the 10-year deadline approached, humanity held its breath. They had prepared as best they could, advancing centuries in just a decade. Now, as they looked to the stars, they were ready to face whatever came. In her office at the United Nations, now the headquarters of the Earth Defense Force, Elena stared out the window at the bustling New York street below. 10 years ago, those same streets had been filled with panicked riots. Now, there was a sense of nervous determination in the air. Her phone buzzed, and she answered it immediately. Dr. Cho, Yuki's voice came through, tight with excitement. It's ready. Project Prometheus is operational. Elena closed her eyes, letting out a long breath. Thank you, Yuki, she said. Let's hope we never have to use it. As she hung up, Elena's gaze turned back to the sky. Somewhere out there, the aliens were coming. But humanity was ready. They had faced the ultimate challenge and had risen to meet it. Whatever happened next, Earth would not go quietly. The final hours of humanity's decade-long preparation ticked away, and the world waited, poised between fear and determination, for the arrival of their uninvited guests. The Great Unification. The day the aliens were due to arrive dawned with an eerie calm. Cities across the globe, usually bustling with activity, were eerily quiet as billions huddled in their homes or designated shelters, eyes glued to screens, waiting for news. In New York, the United Nations building, now the headquarters of the Earth Defense Force, EDF, was a hive of activity. Military personnel from every nation on Earth moved with purpose through its hallways, their uniforms a kaleidoscope of colors that represented the unprecedented global cooperation of the past decade. In the central command room, Dr. Elena Cho stood before a wall of screens, each displaying a different sector of Earth's newly established defense grid. Beside her, General Adebayo, the Nigerian commander of the EDF, studied the readouts with a grim expression. "Any sign of them, Doctor?" Adebayo asked, his deep voice tinged with tension. Elena shook her head. "Nothing yet, General. But our long-range sensors are at maximum capacity. If they're coming, we'll know." As if on cue, alarms began blaring throughout the facility. One of the screens flashed red, showing a disturbance at the edge of the solar system. "Contact," shouted a young lieutenant. Multiple objects entering the system at high speed. Elena's heart raced as she processed the data flooding in. "It's them," she confirmed, her voice steady despite the adrenaline coursing through her veins. "A fleet of ships, sizes varying from what appear to be small fighters to massive cruisers. They'll reach Earth orbit in approximately 6 hours at their current speed." General Adebayo nodded, his face set with determination. "Then it's time. Initiate Operation Lighthouse." Across the globe, hidden installations hummed to life. In orbit, cloaked satellites revealed themselves, forming a grid around the planet. On the ground, massive energy projectors emerged from camouflage bunkers. This was humanity's first line of defense, a planet-wide shield grid, the product of a decade of reverse engineering the alien signal's advanced technology. As the shield shimmered into existence, casting a faint, iridescent glow across the sky, people around the world gasped in awe. For many, it was the first tangible sign of how far humanity had come in its preparations. In the Oval Office, President Carlisle, now in her third term after the global decision to maintain consistent leadership through the crisis, prepared to address the world. Her face, more lined than it had been a decade ago, was resolute as she looked into the camera. "Citizens of Earth," she began, her voice carried to every corner of the globe, "the day we have long prepared for has arrived. An alien fleet approaches our world. Their intentions, as we learned 10 years ago, are not peaceful. They come not as friends, but as conquerors. However, we are not the same humanity they thought to subjugate a decade ago. We have united, we have advanced, and we have prepared. Whatever happens in the coming hours and days, know this: we stand together, and we will not go quietly into the night." As the president's words echoed across the planet, the alien fleet drew closer. In low Earth orbit, the crews of the hastily constructed space stations tensed, ready for their part in humanity's defense. Back in the EDF command center, Elena watched as the fleet's formation became clearer on the long-range scans. Something wasn't right. The ships weren't in an attack formation. In fact, they seemed to be slowing down. "General," Elena called out, "I think you need to see this." Adebayo hurried over, his brow furrowed as he studied the display. "They're decelerating," he muttered. "Why?" Before Elena could respond, a new alert sounded. "Incoming transmission." The communications officer shouted. It's on all frequencies, in every language on Earth." Elena and Adebayo shared a look of surprise before turning their attention to the main screen. The face that appeared was undeniably alien, gray-skinned with large, dark eyes and no visible mouth. When it spoke, the words seemed to bypass their ears and materialize directly in their minds. "People of Earth," the alien began, its mental voice surprisingly melodious. "I am Ambassador Zorn of the Galactic Concordat. We come in peace." A collective gasp echoed through the command center. This was not the hostile invasion they had expected. The alien continued, 10 years ago, we sent you a message. It was a test, one that every potentially spacefaring race must face. Your response has exceeded all expectations. In a mere decade, you have achieved technological advancements that took other races centuries. More impressively, you have united your planet in a way few others have managed, even under existential threat. Alina's mind raced, trying to process this unexpected turn of events. The ultimatum, the threat of forced integration. It had all been a test. "We owe you an explanation," Ambassador Zorn continued. "The Galactic Concordat is an alliance of peaceful civilizations. However, history has taught us that not all races are ready for the responsibilities of interstellar travel and diplomacy. Our message was designed to provoke a response, to see how your species would react to a potential threat. Would you fracture and fight amongst yourselves? Would you submit? Or would you unite and stand strong?" The alien's eyes seemed to twinkle with something akin to pride. "You chose to stand united. In doing so, you have proven yourselves worthy of joining the galactic community. We extend to you not an ultimatum, but an invitation. The choice to accept is yours." As the transmission ended, the command center erupted into a cacophony of voices. Alina stood silent, her mind whirling with the implications of what they'd just heard. General Adebayo was the first to regain his composure. "Dr. Cho," he said, his voice cutting through the chaos, "I believe your expertise is needed now more than ever. We need to verify their claims and advise the Security Council on how to proceed." Alina nodded, already formulating a plan. "We'll need to assemble a team. Linguists, anthropologists, diplomats. And," she hesitated for a moment before continuing, "I think it's time we revealed Project Prometheus." Adebayo's eyes widened. "Are you sure? That was meant to be our last resort." "It was meant to be our ace in the hole," Alina corrected. "A way to understand and potentially match alien technology. If their offer of peace is genuine, it could be the key to our smooth integration into this galactic concordat." As Alina and Adebayo hurried to brief the world's leaders, the news of the aliens' true intentions spread across the globe. The reaction was mixed, relief warred with anger, joy with suspicion. After a decade of preparing for war, the prospect of peace was almost as shocking as the initial threat had been. In the following days, Earth became a flurry of diplomatic activity. A delegation from the Galactic Concordat was invited to land, under heavy guard, in a specially prepared area outside New York. The world watched with bated breath as the sleek alien craft descended from the sky, touching down on human soil for the first time in history. Ambassador Zorn, accompanied by a diverse group of alien species, emerged to meet with Earth's leaders. The gathering was broadcast live across the planet, watched by billions. As the official greetings and introductions were made, Alina found herself face to face with one of the alien scientists. The being introduced itself as Dr. Xan, its telepathic voice tinged with curiosity. "Dr. Cho," Xan said, "your work on deciphering our initial message was impressive. We are particularly interested in how you managed to reverse engineer some of our technology from the signal alone." Alina smiled, a mix of pride and lingering wariness in her expression. "We had strong motivation," she replied diplomatically. "Perhaps we could arrange a cultural and technological exchange. There's much we could learn from each other." As Alina and Xan delved into a discussion about the differences and similarities in their scientific approaches, other meetings were taking place. Military leaders from Earth and the Concordat compared notes on defense strategies. Diplomats began the complex task of negotiating Earth's potential membership in the Galactic Alliance. In the days that followed, the truth about the Galactic Concordat's test became clearer. Earth was not the first world to receive such a message, nor would it be the last. It was a method the Concordat had developed over millennia to identify civilizations that were ready for the complexities of galactic diplomacy. "You must understand," Ambassador Zorn explained in a private meeting with world leaders, "that the universe is vast and filled with wonders, but also with dangers. Some races, when given access to advanced technology and interstellar travel, have caused great harm. Our method, while admittedly harsh, has proven effective in identifying those civilizations with the unity and resilience needed to be responsible members of the galactic community." President Carlisle, speaking for Earth, responded with a mix of understanding and reproach. "We appreciate the reasoning behind your methods, Ambassador. However, you must also understand that your test brought our world to the brink of war. It caused a decade of fear and frantic preparation. There must be a better way." Zorn nodded, a gesture they had quickly adopted to communicate with humans. "Your point is well taken, President Carlisle. Perhaps with Earth's input, we can develop a more nuanced approach for future contacts." As the negotiations continued, Alina found herself increasingly involved in the scientific and technological exchanges. The revelation of Project Prometheus, a quantum computational system that had allowed Earth to make unprecedented leaps in technology, was met with excitement from the Concordat scientists. "This is remarkable," Dr. Xan exclaimed, examining the Prometheus schematics. "To have developed this level of quantum manipulation in such a short time. It's unprecedented. With refinement, this technology could revolutionize interstellar communication." Elena beamed with pride, but her scientist's curiosity quickly took over. "We'd be happy to share our research," she said, "but I'm more interested in learning about your faster-than-light travel. The implications for physics alone are staggering." As the days turned into weeks, the initial shock of the aliens' arrival gave way to a cautious optimism. Schools began incorporating lessons on extraterrestrial cultures into their curricula. Scientists from around the world eagerly collaborated with their alien counterparts, leading to breakthroughs in medicine, energy production, and environmental restoration. Not everyone was pleased with the turn of events, of course. Some saw the Concordat's test as an unforgivable deception. Protests erupted in several cities, demanding that Earth reject the offer of alliance and remain independent. Others feared that closer ties with advanced alien civilizations would lead to the erosion of human culture and identity. Yet, for the most part, the people of Earth embraced this new chapter in human history with the same determination and adaptability they had shown in preparing for war. The unity forged in the face of a perceived threat held strong, now fueled by the excitement of new frontiers and the promise of a brighter future. As the first month of Earth's new interstellar era drew to a close, Alina found herself once again in the UN building, now bustling with a mix of human and alien diplomats. She watched as President Carlisle and Ambassador Zorn signed a preliminary agreement for Earth's probationary membership in the Galactic Concordat. "Dr. Cho," a voice called out. Alina turned to see Dr. Yuki Tanaka approaching, a wide smile on her face. "Can you believe it? 10 years ago, we thought we were preparing for the end. Now, we're at the beginning of something amazing." Elena nodded, returning the smile. "It's incredible, Yuki. But you know, in a way, we owe it all to their deception. Without that push, who knows how long it would have taken us to reach this point." As they looked out at the assembled delegates, human and alien alike, Elena felt a surge of pride and excitement. The road ahead would not be easy. There were still many challenges to overcome, trust to be built, and a galaxy of wonders to explore. But humanity had proven itself ready for the task. The stars, once distant and unreachable, now beckoned. And humanity, united and resilient, was ready to answer the call. Cosmic Horizons. 5 years had passed since Earth's induction into the Galactic Concordat, And the changes to human society were nothing short of revolutionary. The skylines of major cities now featured sleek, alien-inspired architecture alongside traditional human designs. Hover vehicles zipped between buildings, their quiet hum a testament to the clean, efficient energy technology shared by the Concordat. Dr. Elena Cho stood on the observation deck of Harmony Station, Earth's first large-scale orbital habitat. The station, a joint project between human engineers and Concordat advisors, was a shining example of what humanity could achieve with their new allies' support. "Quite a view, isn't it?" a familiar voice said behind her. Elena turned to see Ambassador Zorn floating towards her, his movements graceful in the low-gravity environment. Over the years, she had grown accustomed to the alien's appearance, and even learned to read the subtle shifts in his large, dark eyes that conveyed emotion. "It never gets old," Elena agreed, gesturing to the blue and white marble of Earth below. "Sometimes I still can't believe how far we've come in such a short time." Zorn made a sound that Elena had come to recognize as a chuckle. "Your species continues to impress us, Dr. Cho. The speed at which you adapt and innovate is remarkable, which is why I'm here, actually. The Concordat has a proposal for Earth, and we'd like your input." Elena's curiosity was immediately piqued. "What kind of proposal?" "We believe Earth is ready for its first deep space mission," Zorn said, his mental voice tinged with excitement. "A journey to the edge of explored space, to make first contact with a newly discovered civilization." Elena's eyes widened. This was beyond anything she had imagined. "Us. Make first contact. But we've barely begun to understand interstellar travel ourselves." Zorn's eyes crinkled in what Elena now recognized as a smile. "Precisely. Your recent experiences make you uniquely qualified. You understand the fear, the excitement, the challenges of encountering a more advanced civilization. Who better to guide another species through that process?" As Elena mulled over the implications, Zorn continued, "Of course, you wouldn't be alone. The mission would be a joint effort, with Concordat members providing support and guidance. But the face of the mission, the primary contact team, would be human." Elena's mind raced with possibilities. "This is incredible, but also terrifying. The responsibility is immense," Zorn finished for her. "We understand that. Take some time to consider it. Discuss it with your leaders. We'll reconvene in a week to hear Earth's decision." As Zorn glided away, Elena's gaze returned to Earth. From up here, the borders and divisions that had once seemed so important were invisible. She thought about how much humanity had changed, how much she had changed, since that fateful night when she first detected the alien signal. The next week was a whirlwind of activity. Emergency sessions were called in the United Nations, now expanded into the Planetary Council to better represent Earth in galactic affairs. Leaders from every nation debated the pros and cons of accepting the Concordat's offer. Elena found herself at the center of it all, called upon to provide her expertise and insight. In a pivotal meeting with the Planetary Council, she made her position clear. "This is an unprecedented opportunity," she argued, her voice steady as she addressed the assembled leaders. "Yes, it comes with risks. Yes, we're venturing into the unknown. But isn't that what humanity has always done? We've spent the last 5 years learning, growing, preparing. It's time we put that knowledge to use, not just for ourselves, but for another civilization that's about to take its first steps into a larger universe." Her words resonated with many, but others remained skeptical. And what if this new civilization reacts with hostility? The representative from Russia challenged, "Are we prepared to defend ourselves so far from home?" It was General Adebayo, now serving as Earth's representative on the Concordat's Defense Council, who answered, "We've made incredible strides in adapting Concordat defense technologies to suit our needs. More importantly, we've learned from our own experience. We know how to approach this situation with diplomacy and caution." The debates raged on, but in the end, the decision was made. Earth would accept the Concordat's offer. The announcement was met with a mix of excitement and apprehension from the public. The idea of humans making first contact with another civilization captured the imagination of millions. Overnight, the mission, dubbed Operation Cosmic Horizon, became the talk of the planet. As preparations began in earnest, Alina found herself appointed as the mission's chief science officer. The role was daunting, but she threw herself into the work with characteristic determination. The ship that would carry them on their journey was a marvel of human and alien engineering. Named the ESS Prometheus, after the project that had propelled humanity's technological leap forward, it was the most advanced vessel ever constructed in Earth's orbit. As Alina walked through the ship's corridors during its final fitting, she marveled at how seamlessly human and alien technologies had been integrated. Holographic displays flickered alongside traditional screens, and the ship's eye, a quantum-based system evolved from Project Prometheus, responded to both vocal and telepathic commands. Dr. Cho, the AI's voice echoed through the corridor, its tone warm and slightly accented, a deliberate choice to make the human crew feel more at ease. Final system checks are complete. All systems are operating at optimal capacity. Thank you, Gaia, Alina responded, smiling at the use of the AI's chosen name. How are the crew quarters coming along? A holographic display materialized in front of her, showing the layout of the living areas. Crew quarters are 98% complete, Gaia reported. The last of the personal effects are being loaded now. As Alina continued her tour, she ran into Captain Miguel Reyes, the mission's commanding officer. A veteran of both Earth's traditional navies and its new Space Force, Reyes had been handpicked to lead this historic expedition. Doctor, he greeted her with a nod. How are we looking? Everything's on schedule, Captain, Alina replied. Gaia reports all systems are go. How about the crew? Reyes's expression was a mix of pride and concern. They're the best Earth has to offer, no doubt about that. But I'd be lying if I said they weren't nervous. Hell, I'm nervous. We're about to go further than any humans have ever gone, to meet aliens even the Concordat hasn't encountered before. It's a lot to process. Elena nodded in understanding. I know the feeling. That's why we're here, isn't it? To push boundaries, to represent humanity at its best. Reyes smiled, some of the tension leaving his shoulders. You're right, of course. It's just pre-launch jitters. Once we're out there, doing what we've trained for, it'll all fall into place. As launch day approached, the excitement on Earth reached a fever pitch. The Prometheus and its crew became instant celebrities, their faces plastered across news outlets worldwide. Interviews, documentaries, and special reports filled the airwaves, all focused on the historic mission. The night before launch, Alina found herself unable to sleep. She made her way to the ship's observation lounge, only to find she wasn't alone. Dr. San, the Concordat scientist she had worked closely with over the years, was there, his large eyes reflecting the starlight. Trouble sleeping, Dr. Cho? San asked, his mental voice tinged with sympathy. Alina smiled ruefully. Just a case of pre-mission nerves, I suppose. You'd think after everything we've been through, a little space flight wouldn't be so daunting. San made a sound that Alina had learned was laughter. My dear Alina, this is hardly a little space flight. You're about to embark on a journey that will take you to the very edge of known space. It's natural to feel apprehensive. They stood in companionable silence for a moment, gazing out at the stars. Finally, Alina spoke. San, do you think we're ready for this? Really ready? The alien scientist considered the question carefully before answering. Ready? Perhaps not entirely. No one ever is for something so momentous. But worthy? Absolutely. Your species has shown remarkable resilience, adaptability, and compassion. You've taken the knowledge we've shared and built upon it in ways we never imagined. If any race is prepared to guide another into the galactic community, it's humanity. Zhan's words filled Alina with a renewed sense of purpose. As she bid her friend good night and returned to her quarters, she felt the weight of responsibility, but also the thrill of the adventure that lay ahead. Launch day dawned clear and bright. The Prometheus, gleaming in the morning sun, stood ready on its launch pad, a hybrid of traditional rocket boosters and advanced anti-gravity technology that would propel them beyond Earth's atmosphere. As Elena walked towards the ship in her sleek, Concordat-inspired spacesuit, she saw her fellow crew members doing the same. There was Captain Rice, his posture ramrod straight, every inch the commanding officer. Dr. Yuki Tanaka, her old friend and now the mission's chief engineer, gave her a thumbs up. And there was Dr. Alejandro Vega, the team's cynoanthropologist, looking equal parts terrified and exhilarated. They were joined by a small contingent of Concordat advisors, beings from various alien races who would provide guidance and serve as a link to the wider galactic community. Among them was Zorn, who would be accompanying them on the first leg of their journey. As they boarded the ship, Elena's heart raced with a mixture of fear and excitement. This was it, the culmination of years of preparation, of humanity's great leap into the cosmic unknown. Once they were all strapped in, Captain Rice's voice came over the intercom. "Crew of the Prometheus, this is your captain speaking. In a few moments, we'll be leaving Earth behind and embarking on the greatest journey in human history. Each of you was chosen for this mission because you represent the very best of humanity. Whatever challenges we face out there, I know we'll face them together." There was a moment of silence as his words sank in. Then, Gaia's voice. "All systems are go. Initiating launch sequence." The ship hummed to life around them. Through the viewports, Elena could see the launch pad falling away as they began to rise. The blue sky darkened, fading to the star-speckled black of space. As they broke free of Earth's atmosphere, a cheer went up from the crew. They had done it. The first step of their grand journey was complete. Once they were safely in orbit, Elena unstrapped herself and made her way to the bridge. The view that greeted her took her breath away. Earth hung below them, a beautiful blue marble against the vastness of space. And beyond, the endless expanse of the cosmos, filled with possibilities. Captain Rice turned to her, a smile on his face. "Well, Dr. Cho, are you ready to make history?" Elena nodded, her eyes shining with determination. "Ready as we'll ever be, Captain. Let's go meet our new neighbors." With a command from Rice, the Prometheus's faster-than-light drive engaged. In a burst of dazzling light, the ship disappeared from Earth's orbit, hurtling towards the unknown reaches of the galaxy. As the familiar star patterns of home gave way to alien constellations, Elena felt a profound sense of awe. They were on their way to make first contact, to be the face of not just humanity, but the entire galactic concordat to a new civilization. The journey ahead would be long and fraught with challenges. There would be moments of danger, of doubt, of fear. But as Elena looked around at her crew, human and alien alike, she knew that together they were ready to face whatever the universe had in store for them. Humanity had taken its first true steps into the cosmic ocean. The greatest adventure in the history of their species had begun. The edge of the unknown. The ESS Prometheus streaked through the cosmos, its faster-than-light drive leaving a trail of distorted space-time in its wake. Inside, the crew had settled into a routine, their initial excitement tempered by the realities of long-term space travel. Dr. Elena Cho sat in the ship's laboratory, poring over data from their long-range sensors. The Prometheus had been traveling for 3 months, pushing deeper into uncharted space than any human vessel before it. With each passing day, they drew closer to their destination, a solar system on the fringes of explored space, home to a newly discovered civilization on the brink of achieving faster-than-light travel. "Dr. Cho," Gaia's voice interrupted her thoughts. "Captain Rice requests your presence on the bridge. We're approaching the outer boundary of the target system." Elena's heart raced as she made her way through the ship's corridors. This was the moment they had all been preparing for. As she entered the bridge, she found the entire senior staff already assembled, their faces a mix of anticipation and nervousness. Captain Rice nodded to her as she took her place. Dr. Cho, what can you tell us about what we're facing? Elena activated a holographic display in the center of the bridge. A star system materialized, featuring a yellow dwarf star orbited by 9 planets. Based on our long-range scans and the data provided by the Concordat, we're dealing with a civilization roughly equivalent to where Earth was in the early 21st century. They've achieved spaceflight within their own system and have established colonies on 2 of their planets. Our target is the 3rd planet from their sun. Here, she zoomed in on a blue-green world, strikingly similar to Earth. Dr. Alejandro Vega, the xenoanthropologist, spoke up. Have we detected any signs of them noticing our approach? Elena shook her head. Not yet. Our cloaking technology should keep us hidden until we're ready to reveal ourselves. But once we enter the system, there's a good chance their astronomical instruments will pick us up. Captain Rice leaned forward, his brow furrowed in concentration. All right, people. This is what we've trained for. We'll maintain our cloak and establish orbit around their outermost planet. From there, we'll conduct detailed scans and decide on the best approach for first contact. As the Prometheus entered the alien solar system, a palpable tension filled the ship. They were making history with every light year they traveled, venturing where no human had gone before. Days passed as they meticulously studied the civilization from afar. They intercepted radio and television broadcasts, analyzed atmospheric compositions, and mapped out population centers. The more they learned, the more familiar the situation felt. It's uncanny, Elena remarked during a briefing session. They're facing many of the same challenges we were: climate change, political divisions, resource scarcity, and yet they're on the verge of a breakthrough that could change everything. Ambassador Zorn, who had been quietly observing, spoke up. This is precisely why the Concordat chose your species for this mission. Dr. Cho, you understand their struggles intimately. You can guide them through this crucial transition. As they finalized their plans for first contact, an alert blared through the ship. Unidentified object approaching at high speed. The tactical officer announced. On screen, Captain Rice ordered. The main view screen flickered to life, showing a small, sleek vessel rapidly approaching their position. Elena's eyes widened in realization. It's one of theirs. They must have detected us somehow. Red alert, Rice commanded. Maintain cloak, but ready defensive systems. The bridge crew watched in tense silence as the alien ship drew closer. It was clearly a scout vessel, likely sent to investigate the anomalous readings caused by the Prometheus's presence. They're scanning us, the tactical officer reported. Our cloak is holding, but barely. They know something's here, even if they can't see us. Captain Rice turned to Elena and Zorn. Recommendations. Elena took a deep breath. We knew this moment would come eventually. I say we reveal ourselves. Controlled first contact is better than being discovered by accident. Zorn nodded in agreement. I concur. This race is on the verge of joining the galactic community. A peaceful, open approach now could set the tone for all future interactions. Rice considered for a moment, then nodded. All right. Disengage cloak. Open a channel to that ship. As the Prometheus shimmered into view, Elena could only imagine the shock and awe the aliens must be experiencing. The scout ship immediately took evasive maneuvers, clearly startled by the sudden appearance of a massive unknown vessel. Channel open, the communications officer announced. Captain Rice stood tall, his voice clear and calm as he spoke. This is Captain Miguel Rice of the Earth ship Prometheus. We come in peace as representatives of the Galactic Concordat. We mean you no harm and wish to establish friendly contact with your people. For several tense moments, there was no response. Then, a crackling voice came through the speakers, speaking in an alien language. Gaia immediately began translating. Unknown vessel. The translation came through. The alien's voice a mix of fear and awe. You have entered restricted space. Identify yourselves and state your intentions. What followed was a delicate dance of diplomacy. Over the next several hours, Captain Reyes and Alina, with guidance from Zorn, carefully explained their presence and purpose. They provided proof of their peaceful intentions and offered to meet with the alien world's leaders to discuss formal first contact. The news of the Prometheus's arrival spread like wildfire across the alien world. Their global communication networks buzzed with speculation, fear, and excitement. Religious leaders debated the theological implications, scientists clamored for more information, and governments scrambled to formulate a response. After 2 days of tense negotiations, an agreement was reached. The Prometheus was granted permission to enter orbit around the alien homeworld, and a delegation from Earth would be allowed to land and meet with a coalition of the planet's leaders. As Alina prepared for the landing, she couldn't help but reflect on the parallels with humanity's own first contact experience. "We were so afraid," she mused to Dr. Vega as they donned their environmental suits. "And now we're on the other side." Vega nodded, his eyes shining with excitement. "It's a unique opportunity to shape a species' entry into the galactic community. We can help them avoid some of the fear and mistrust we experienced." The landing shuttle descended through the alien world's atmosphere, touching down in a specially prepared area outside the planet's largest city. As the doors opened, Alina took a deep breath, steeling herself for the historic moment. She stepped out onto alien soil, the first human to do so on this distant world. The landscape was both familiar and strange. Blue-green vegetation swayed in the breeze under a sky tinted slightly purple. In the distance, the alien city's skyline rose, its architecture a blend of the recognizable and the utterly foreign. A group of aliens stood waiting, their appearance causing Alina to blink in surprise. They were roughly humanoid, but with iridescent skin that seemed to shift colors and large, multifaceted eyes that reminded her of insects. Despite their alien features, she could clearly read the mix of emotions on their faces: fear, curiosity, and hope. Captain Reyes stepped forward, Zorn at his side. With Gaia providing real-time translation, he addressed the alien delegation. "On behalf of Earth and the Galactic Concordat, we greet you in peace and friendship. We come not to conquer or to impose, but to welcome you to a larger community of worlds and to offer our support as you take your first steps into the cosmic ocean." The leader of the alien delegation, a tall being with shimmering green skin, responded, "We welcome you, travelers from beyond the stars. Your arrival has changed everything we thought we knew about our place in the universe. We approach this moment with caution, but also with hope for what we might learn from one another." As the formal greetings concluded, Alina found herself engaged in conversation with one of the alien scientists. Despite the vast distances between their homeworlds and the differences in their biology, she was struck by how familiar the exchange felt. They shared the same curiosity, the same thirst for knowledge that had driven humanity to the stars. Over the next few weeks, the crew of the Prometheus worked tirelessly to establish a framework for ongoing relations between the new civilization and the Galactic Concordat. They shared carefully selected technological and scientific knowledge, always mindful of the Concordat's guidelines on non-interference with developing cultures. Alina found herself at the center of many of these exchanges, her experience with both human and Concordat science making her an ideal bridge between the two cultures. She worked closely with the alien world's top scientists, helping them understand the principles behind faster-than-light travel and the responsibilities that came with it. But it wasn't all smooth sailing. As news of the alien contact spread across the planet, not everyone welcomed the visitors from the stars. Protests erupted in some cities, with concerned citizens fearing cultural contamination or even conquest. Religious leaders grappled with the theological implications of extraterrestrial life, and some political factions saw the situation as an opportunity to gain power. It's remarkably similar to how some on Earth reacted, Alina observed during a briefing with Captain Reyes and the Alien World's Leadership Council. Change, especially on this scale, is always frightening. The alien leader, whose name translated roughly to Stargazer, nodded in agreement. Indeed, We are doing our best to calm fears and promote understanding, but it will take time. Your patience and continued openness are appreciated." As their time on the alien world drew to a close, Alina felt a mix of emotions: pride in what they had accomplished, excitement for the future of this new civilization, and a touch of sadness at having to leave. The Prometheus had achieved its primary mission, but this was just the beginning of a long process of integration for the alien world. On their final day planetside, Elena stood with Captain Reyes and Ambassador Zorn as they addressed a global audience, their words broadcast to every corner of the alien world. "We came here as representatives of a larger galactic community," Reyes began, "but we leave as friends. Your world stands on the brink of a new era, one filled with wonders beyond imagination and challenges that will test your unity and resolve. But know this, you do not face this future alone. Earth and the Galactic Concordat stand ready to offer guidance and support as you take your place among the stars." As they prepared to depart, Alina had one last conversation with Stargazer. The alien leader's multifaceted eyes seemed to shimmer with emotion. "Dr. Cho, when your ship appeared in our skies, we feared it might be the end of our world as we knew it. In a way, it was. But it was also a beginning. You have opened our eyes to a universe far grander and more diverse than we ever imagined. For that, we are eternally grateful." Elena smiled, feeling a lump in her throat. This is just the first step of a long journey. But if there's one thing I've learned, it's that the wonders of the universe are best explored together. As the Prometheus lifted off, leaving the alien world behind, Elena watched the planet recede on the view screen. They had done it. First contact had been established, seeds of friendship and cooperation had been planted, and a new civilization was poised to join the galactic community. But their mission wasn't over. As Captain Reyes reminded them during their departure briefing, "We've opened the door, but it's up to them to step through it. Our job now is to report back to Earth and the Concordat and prepare for the challenges ahead." Elena nodded, her mind already racing with the implications of their success. Humanity had proven itself on the galactic stage, not just as newcomers, but as guides and mentors. The future stretched out before them, filled with possibilities, as the Prometheus engaged its faster-than-light drive. Setting a course for home, Elena felt a profound sense of accomplishment. They had ventured to the edge of the unknown and returned, forever changing two civilizations in the process. Whatever came next, she knew that humanity was ready to face it, not alone, but as part of a grand cosmic community, a new galactic era. The ESS Prometheus dropped out of faster-than-light travel just beyond the orbit of Mars, the familiar sight of Earth's solar system filling the view screens. After months in deep space and their groundbreaking mission of first contact, the blue marble of humanity's homeworld was a welcome sight to the crew. Dr. Elena Cho stood on the bridge, a mix of emotions swirling within her. Pride in their accomplishments, excitement for what was to come, and a touch of apprehension about how their mission would be received back home. Captain Rice's voice cut through her thoughts. "Dr. Cho, we're receiving a transmission from Harmony Station. They're requesting we dock for debriefing before proceeding to Earth." Elena nodded, unsurprised. The implications of their mission were too significant for a simple return to Earth. As the Prometheus maneuvered towards the sprawling space station, she prepared herself for the barrage of questions and scrutiny that awaited them. The docking procedure went smoothly, a testament to how far humanity had come in its mastery of space technology. As the airlock cycled open, Elena and the senior crew were greeted by a delegation of Earth's highest-ranking officials and Concordat representatives. Ambassador Zorn, who had accompanied them on their journey, stepped forward to make the introductions. High Counselor Zhang, esteemed members of the Planetary Council, and honored Concordat representatives, may I present Captain Miguel Reyes and Dr. Elena Cho, the leaders of humanity's first extraterrestrial contact mission. High Counselor Zhang, her face etched with both excitement and concern, stepped forward. "Captain, Doctor, on behalf of Earth and all humanity, Welcome home. Your mission has ushered in a new era for our species. We have much to discuss. The debriefing lasted for days. Elena, Captain Rice, and the rest of the senior crew recounted every detail of their encounter with the alien civilization. They presented data, shared cultural observations, and offered recommendations for future interactions. The similarities between their civilization and our own recent history are striking, Elena explained during one session. They stand at a crucial juncture, much as we did when the Concordat first contacted us. The decisions they make now will shape their future for generations to come. The Concordat representatives listened with particular interest. One of them, a being of pure energy contained within a specialized suit, spoke up. Your insights are invaluable, Dr. Cho. The success of this mission confirms our belief that humanity has a unique role to play in the Concordat. Your recent experiences make you ideally suited to guide emerging civilizations into the galactic community. As the debriefing continued, news of the Prometheus' return spread across Earth. The public reaction was intense and varied. Many celebrated the success of the mission, hailing it as the dawn of a new age for humanity. Others expressed concern about the risks of further alien contact and the changes it might bring to human society. Debates raged in media outlets worldwide. Scientists clamored for more information about the alien civilization, while politicians argued over how this new relationship should be managed. Religious leaders grappled with the theological implications of humanity's new role in the cosmos. In the midst of this global discussion, Elena found herself thrust into the spotlight. Her expertise and first-hand experience made her a sought-after voice in the ongoing debates. She gave interviews, participated in panel discussions, and even addressed the United Nations General Assembly. "We stand at a crossroads," she told the assembled world leaders. "The galaxy is vaster and more diverse than we ever imagined, filled with wonders and challenges beyond our wildest dreams. But we are not alone in facing this new frontier. We have allies in the Concordat, and now, potentially, in the civilization we've just contacted. Our task now is to move forward with wisdom, compassion, and an unwavering commitment to the betterment of all sentient life." As the initial furor began to die down, the Planetary Council convened to discuss the long-term implications of the Prometheus mission. Elena and Captain Rice were invited to attend, along with Ambassador Zorn and other Concordat representatives. High Counselor Zhang opened the session. "The success of the Prometheus mission has opened new doors for humanity. The Concordat has proposed expanding our role within their organization, particularly in the realm of first contact and the integration of new civilizations. We must decide how to proceed." The debate was intense. Some argue for caution, suggesting that humanity should focus on its own development before taking on greater responsibilities in the galactic community. Others pushed for embracing this new role wholeheartedly, seeing it as an opportunity for humanity to make its mark on the cosmos. Elena listened to the arguments, her mind racing with the possibilities. When it was her turn to speak, she stood, feeling the weight of the moment. "Members of the Council," she began, "I understand the concerns about moving too quickly. But consider this. In the span of a single generation, we've gone from a planet-bound civilization to a species capable of guiding others into a galactic community. This isn't just an opportunity, it's a responsibility." She paused, looking around the room. "The challenges we faced in our own journey give us unique insights. We can help other civilizations navigate the pitfalls we encountered. Moreover, by taking a more active role in the Concordat, we gain access to knowledge and resources that can benefit all of humanity. We shouldn't shy away from this. We should embrace it." Her words seemed to resonate with many in the chamber. After much further discussion, a consensus began to emerge. Earth would accept the Concordat's offer, but with certain conditions to ensure that humanity's own interests and development were not neglected. In the weeks that followed, a flurry of activity swept across the planet. New institutions were established to manage Earth's expanding role in galactic affairs. The Global Space Academy was founded, dedicated to training future generations of diplomats, scientists, and explorers for life among the stars. Elena found herself at the center of many of these new initiatives. Her experiences on the Prometheus made her an ideal candidate to lead the new Interstellar Relations Department. It was a role she accepted with both excitement and a deep sense of responsibility. As Earth prepared for its new role, the Concordat didn't remain idle. A delegation from the alien civilization they had contacted arrived, marking the first time a non-Concordat species had visited Earth. The event was broadcast globally, symbolizing humanity's new status as a bridge between established galactic civilizations and emerging ones. Elena was present for the historic meeting between Earth's leaders and the alien representatives. As she watched the exchange of ideas and culture, she felt a profound sense of pride in how far humanity had come. One of the alien delegates, whose name translated roughly to Seeker of New Horizons, approached her during a break in the formal proceedings. "Dr. Cho," the alien said, its multifaceted eyes shimmering with what Elena had learned to recognize as excitement, "your visit to our world has sparked a revolution in thought among our people. The knowledge that we are not alone in the universe, that there is a vast community of worlds waiting to welcome us, has united our planet in ways we never thought possible." Elena smiled, touched by the alien's words. "That's wonderful to hear. Unity will be crucial as your civilization takes its first steps into the galactic community. There will be challenges ahead, but know that Earth and the Concordat stand ready to support you." As the alien nodded in gratitude, Elena couldn't help but reflect on the incredible journey that had led to this moment. From that fateful night when she first detected the alien signal to now, standing as a bridge between worlds, it had been a transformation beyond anything she could have imagined. The following months saw a flurry of activity as Earth solidified its new role in the galactic community. More ships were constructed, each one pushing the boundaries of human engineering and incorporating advanced Concordat technologies. The Prometheus, now a symbol of humanity's cosmic journey, was retired to become a museum and training facility for future explorers. Elena split her time between Earth and various Concordat worlds, working to establish protocols for future first contact missions and helping to integrate the newly contacted civilization into the galactic fold. It was challenging work, but deeply rewarding. 1 year after the Prometheus' return, Elena found herself back on Harmony Station. She stood in the observation lounge, gazing out at the stars, when she felt a familiar presence beside her. "Quite a view, isn't it?" Ambassador Zorn said, echoing their conversation from before the Prometheus mission. Elena chuckled. "It never gets old. But I see it differently now. Each of those points of light represents potential, new worlds to discover, new civilizations to meet." Zorn's large eyes crinkled in what Elena now recognized as a smile. "You've come a long way, Dr. Cho. Humanity has come a long way. When we first contacted your world, we hoped you would eventually join us as equals in the Concordat. But you've exceeded our expectations. You've become teachers, guides, bridges between the old and the new." Elena nodded, feeling a swell of pride. "We still have much to learn, but we're ready for the challenges ahead. The galaxy is vast, but we face its wonders and its dangers together." As they stood there, contemplating the cosmic tapestry before them, an alert chimed softly. Elena checked her communicator, and her eyes widened with excitement. The long-range sensors have detected another potential civilization, far out on the galactic rim, she explained to Zorn. "The Planetary Council is requesting that I lead the first contact mission." Zorn placed a hand on her shoulder, a gesture he had adopted from humans. "Then go, Elena. Go and show them the wonders that await. Show them that they are not alone in the cosmos." As Elena hurried off to prepare for her next great adventure, she felt a profound sense of purpose. Humanity had found its place in the universe, not just as explorers or diplomats, but as guardians and guides for the civilizations yet to join the galactic community. The journey that had begun with a mysterious signal from the stars had led humanity to its true calling. As Earth's ships ventured ever further into the cosmic ocean, they carried with them a message of hope, unity, and the endless possibilities that await when different worlds and species come together in peace and collaboration. And as Elena Cho prepared to embark on another mission of first contact, she knew that this was just the beginning. The greatest adventure in human history was unfolding, one star, one world, one civilization at a time. Humanity had taken its place among the stars, ready to face whatever wonders and challenges the universe had in store. The cosmic horizon beckoned, and humanity, united and purposeful, was ready to answer its call.